The land of Cantha, where tradition and innovation are shaped by an empire of discipline and shadowed by a history of tribal warfare. From these lands is where the Bladesworn emerged, warriors seeking a new path where ancient martial skill meets with modern technology. They wield the gun saber, where the elegance of a sword is bolstered by the power of a firearm. In a moment of stillness, Bladesworns harness their most powerful technique, the Dragon Trigger, a devastating strike of overwhelming force. Today's build is the Bladesworn for PvP. Now, I'm not going to pretend that this is the best build or a meta build. It's certainly not like a tournament competitor. If your goal is to play Bladesworn, if you like the mechanics and you really want to play that class, this is a good option, I think. This build was not my creation. Somebody shared it with me after I saw some footage of them playing it. I've played it quite a bit myself over the past couple of weeks, and I thought, you know what? The expansion's coming out soon anyway, so this will probably be my last build video. Before then, like I said, if you want to play Bladesworn, you want to give it a shot and have a bit of fun, I think this is the go-to one for it. The thing that synergizes this build that helps it perform well, and that is might generation, getting extra crit from having full might stacks, and self-healing from might. You have 4 Great Justice that gives you your might and fury, might makes right that gives you health and endurance when you apply might to yourself, tactics trait line to get might from empowered allies, soldier's focus procs, and you get might from your dragon slash. And on top of that, the relic you'll be using kind of brings this all together as well. So relic of the Mistburn, when you grant might to yourself, you grant yourself additional might, gain increased critical strike chance while at or above the might threshold. So it did get nerfed. It used to be 10, but 5% crit chance is still really strong. You don't have the same passives as Berserker or Spellbreaker that grant you a little bit extra critical strike. And the weapon we'll be using is Rifle. The reason for that is it just synergizes better with some of our other traits. So Swift as a Wind, this is pretty important for PvP. It grants 5 seconds of swiftness and also gains a little bit of your flow charge. Dragon Sail defense, so you gain boons when entering Dragon Trigger, so you get some protection. Lush Forest, this is probably one of the most important traits in this build. Using the first round of ammo on an ammo skill reduces the recharge of all warrior skills. Each time you use, say, like Volley, Explosive Shell, Brutal Shot, Combat Stimulant, 4 Great Justice, Brutal Step, Cyclone Trigger, Blooming Ire, Blooming Fire, those will all reduce your cooldowns by about 1 second. So one of the big benefits of that is your tactical reload, which also recharges your skills, will get its cooldown reduced, as well as non-ammunition skills as well. So Shake It Off, Doliad Signet, your rifle butt skill, all these things are going to be getting their cooldowns reduced, and you're almost free to like spam your skills. Really, your goal here is just to keep using your skills constantly. So it's a very fast-paced and I think fun build to use. And because you're using your ammo skills so often, Guns and Glory, which grants ferocity when you hit with an explosion skill, and it stacks in duration. This will also be going off, and you'll be able to keep your stacks at this high. And then finally, Unyielding Dragon, so it makes our Dragon Trigger unblockable. And our Dragon Trigger in this build is actually going to be hitting pretty hard. A big thing to remember with this playing Bladesworn in PvP is you don't necessarily have to wait until your Dragon Trigger, your charges reach 10 stacks. Sometimes it's actually better just to hit it right away, because you're kind of vulnerable when you're sitting in this charging. And it's better to just get the skill off to trigger some of your other traits than to get it interrupted and not be able to use it at all. And then just quickly covering some of the other traits. I mean, we take Restorative Strength because you get might from this. You get might on crits from Forceful Greatsword. Might Makes Right will give you a lot of self-healing, and you're going to be able to dodge a lot, which is important for survival. Leg Specialist, immobilize a target when you cripple them. It makes it a lot easier to line up your burst with your rifle skills and with your Dragon Trigger skills. And you also deal a little bit more damage to movement impaired foes. Empowered allies, again, we're taking this for the might generation. Applying might to an ally heals you. So again, more self-healing, more healing to allies, and then quickness. So this is our source of quickness, and it just passively removes conditions. The skills we're going to be using, the utility skills. So combat stimulant is our heal. It just benefits the most from things like tactical reload and our other traits that we gain might from. For Great Justice, same kind of thing. And Shake It Off. I mean, what is a warrior build without Shake It Off, except if you're playing like Rifle Berserker. Billyak Signet. You could switch this maybe for... maybe Balance Stance would be like the strongest alternative, or maybe like a banner if you wanted. I just like sticking with this though, because you are a little bit vulnerable. As far as gear and like sigils, Berserker, I wouldn't really play with anything except this. Just you need these stats just for your burst. Rune of the Ranger, just to boost that critical strike rating up as much as we can. And like I said already, Relic of the Mistburn to get more might stacks, which synergizes with all of our other traits. Bladesworn right now rifle is kind of the best weapon for it for most PvP builds. I've got Sigil of Battle and Sigil of Cleansing. So that's pretty much it for like the back end. So Gunsaber, this is going to be our primary weapon, let's call it. The main mechanic with this is your building flow, which is a replacement for adrenaline. Your auto attack. This is a ranged explosion attack. It does okay damage, doesn't really have any other secondary effect. You're probably not going to be using this too much. Blooming Fire. This skill's okay. You know, it deals explosions, so it will stack Guns and Glory. It's a good idea to use it when you just need to sort of a filler skill. Artillery Slash. Usually you want to save this for when you have 2 stacks, so you get the 2 ammo spent bonus, which is a daze for 2 seconds. But because of tactics, the cripple will turn into immobilized, so it just depends on the situation on when you want to use this. But it does a good chunk of damage. It does have, you know, a cast time. If you're using it from range, we'll just recharge this real quick. If you're using it from range, you can like see the projectile and it makes a very distinct sound, so it's kind of easy to dodge. So usually you're better off casting that from melee. Cyclone Trigger. So this skill comes out very fast. It gives us Aegis and it deals a nice chunk of AoE damage. So these 2 skills together are going to be setting up most of your combos for damage. And it's going to be the kind of like the focus of your burst. And then last we have Break Step. Doesn't really do a lot of damage, but if you need to get into melee range to use one of your more important skills, it can be helpful. It does grant 5 seconds of Fury. Okay, so that covers it for the Gunsaber. So if we go into Dragon Trigger here, you'll see the ammunition has charged up. Now it's at full stacks. Your number 1 skill here, Dragon Slash Force, is a melee only ability. It deals the most damage, but it has the shortest range, right? So, see, that did 5k with like about 15 might stacks, so that's, you know, pretty good. And our second Dragon Trigger ability here has a 750 range. So this one doesn't deal as much damage, but it's not a huge difference. Comes out very fast, and you will dash quickly towards your target like that. That's usually the best one to use in PvP. The third one is Reach. So this one is a range skill. It has 900 range, and you stay in place and fire it at the target. This is probably the worst one to use. Sorry, not Artillery Slash. This is probably the worst one to use just because there's no benefit for it being a ranged attack. It's much easier to dodge, and it's more predictable. This will grant you, your trigger guard will grant you Aegis. It's kind of free to use. But just remember that when you're sitting in this, you don't have stability. It's very easy to interrupt you. And then once you're knocked out of this, you lose all your charges here. So you want to be careful about when you use trigger guard. Now this skill, if you are a little bit far away from your target or they're walking away from you, one combo that I learned is pretty effective is to step towards them and then use your dash. That will kind of confuse the targets a little bit and make it so your attack comes out quickly and it's much harder to dodge. All right, so we'll just do that again. Step towards them, dash, and I flew off the edge of the cliff. That's okay. There we go. I'm back. Yeah, so that's kind of the basics. It does take a little bit getting used to because there's nothing else in the game that really functions like this. I'm just going to press the 1 skill. But yeah, so 6k at almost 25 stacks. It does deal, you know, good damage. So you want to make sure that it lands, right? Because you got a lot riding on your burst skills landing. There's a nice almost 7k there. And now let's go into rifle. So rifle, I like to use this when most of my gun saber skills are on cooldown, or you can use it to escape from an enemy. So if somebody is really pressuring you, you hit them with a brutal shot and you get a nice evade backwards. They get rooted and then you get 12 stacks of vulnerability on them. And then you can line it up with explosive shell, which will cripple and immobilize them, gain more vulnerability stacks, and then hit them with a volley. It's very good at managing the distance between you and your enemies, and it makes it effective at being able to choose which fights you want to engage in and which fights you don't. Rifle butt here will also bring you some CC, so if you want, you could combo this, right? If they break out of the immobilized, you could hit them with rifle butt and then continue with, you know, your rifle sort of burst there. And then, you know, keeping in mind too that when these skills are using the first ammo charge of them, right, you're reducing the cooldown of all your other skills with Lush Forest. So it's good to cycle back between the two. Don't just get stuck on using one sort of weapon set. You can see, like, when I'm using these skills, it grants 1 second off each time you do that. So these skills come off cooldown very quickly. Step towards there. Yeah. Tactical reload. The best time to use this in like a perfect situation is right before you go into your dragon trigger, because the ammo will charge much faster. And if you really want to hit them as hard as you can, that's a good way of doing it. Next, we're going to take a look at some clips from some PvP fights. I'm not going to go into too much detail about like the skills and what I'm using, but just to show you how it performs, and I'll give some commentary on decisions I made and some of the things that could have been improved on as well. And so you can see all of this come together in action. I'm trying to head to mid. I see that there's one player there, the Elementalist. But what I don't see is second Ellie porting behind me. So I'm showing this clip because I'm basically doing my best to stay alive and to escape. So I run into another enemy. And I'm going to try and make my way to Waterfall here because I realize... So anyway, I see my teammate is already fighting this Harbinger here. It looks like it's fairly even. We look like we have the advantage, but that Harbinger is just putting out a lot of damage, manages to down my teammate. But I got another teammate here who is coming in. And I'm kind of doing my best to survive. I'm doing okay, but as soon as I notice that Harbinger pressuring me, I just line of sight, get out of there. So I switch back to rifle. I know I can pierce these targets and get some damage in on them. My teammate and I managed to get down the Necromancer. And now it looks like the Elementalist is really struggling. I mean, there's 3 of us on him now, so we were able to get him down. So I go into this team fight here, and right away I want to pick off this Mesmer because he's doing a lot of damage. See the Elementalist and the Harbinger back. So I just switched to rifle and decide to start pumping damage into them. My teammates are doing quite a bit of damage. I get a nice big 11k crit on my dragon trigger there, so that was nice. Yeah, just trying to keep kind of on the edge of battle, not going in and like face tanking any damage, and picking the right moment to use my burst. And remember that, like, because of tactics and everything, you know, my might and my condition cleanses are going off to my teammates as well, and it's also healing me. So yeah, you get a lot of benefit out of playing this. It's as not just like a duelist build. So this next fight here, there's a Mesmer that's hiding. And my teammate and I are at mid. We're just kind of waiting for him to like do his opening. I go in and put a bit of pressure on him, but he like downs my teammate almost immediately, and I'm just spamming my skills, trying to stay alive. Now the enemy has a teammate there as well, so it's a 2v1 against me, but luckily one of my teammates hops in there. I get a nice big dragon trigger off of there. Then I switch to my rifle and manage to get this elementalist down. Wait, that was... I didn't realize... I thought that was a druid. It was actually a daredevil using a scepter. So this next clip here, we were chasing this necromancer off of home, and it's going to lead into a team fight. So I'm putting as much pressure as I can. There's 4 of us now kind of ganging up on this one necro, but 2 of his teammates have shown up. I managed to down the necro. I switched to rifle because I'm getting a little bit pressured there. We're focusing on this elementalist, and we managed to get him down. Now the spellbreaker is going in on me, and I know he's got a lot of burst. He's playing like a double mace build. I get a nice 6k hit with my dragon trigger. Quickly hit him with some gun saber skills, and my teammates helped me finish him off. That's it for today. I hope you found this video entertaining, informative, and enjoyable to watch. Like always, if you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe, because it is a free way to support the channel. And until next time, take it easy, gamers.